expenditure until past audit issues are fully resolved. This is in line with Regulation 172(1) of Public Finance Management Regulation 2015, which requires entities to implement audit recommendations without undue delay. Late submissions of financial statements. Honorable Speaker and members, the financial statements of Homa Bay County Water and Sanitation Company Management County Government Regulation 15 that they submit by 30th September 2024. In the circumstances, the management was in breach of the law. Management response. The management concurs with the auditor observation and endeavors to submit the financial statement in time in the subsequent financial years. Committee observation. Homa management submitted its financial statement on 11th October 2024 outside the statutory deadline of September 30th as required by Regulation 208 of the Public Finance Management of County Government Regulation 15. This delay constitutes a breach of financial reporting obligation, potentially affecting the transparency and accountability. While management acknowledges the issue and commits to timely submit its timely submissions in the future, the risk of non-compliance remains a great concern. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, Committee recommendations. Homa Board of Directors needs to ensure strict compliance with statutory financial reporting deadlines by implementing oversight mechanisms to monitor timely submissions of the financial statement. Failure to comply should result to disciplinary action against the responsible officers as per Section 156(2) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which holds public officers responsibly liable for financial misconduct. In addition, the Board of Directors, to ensure Regulation 208 of the Public Finance Management Regulation 15, County Government Regulation 15, which mandates the submissions of the financial statement by September 30th each year to prevent future breach. Non-compliance with ethic, diversity in staffing. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, analysis of the personnel record for the month of June 2024 reveals that the company had a workforce of 102, out of which 97 were members of the dominant community. This represents 95% of the total workforce, which is contrary to the provision of Section 7(2) of the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2008. In addition, the company recruited 11 new employees in the year under review, out of which 9 representing 82% were from the same dominant community. This indicates the management is unwilling to address the imbalance. In the circumstance, the management was in breach of the law. Management response. The management wishes to state that it has always procedurally advertised vacancies on the official company website, mainstream media, and newspapers, which are accessible globally to everyone across the country. In some cases, shortlisted candidates have included applicants from other ethical communities as well. In most cases, those shortlisted have failed to turn up for a job interview. Some who have applied have not met the required qualifications, and where they have attended the interviews, they have performed below the expectation. This number of applications under this category has always been below 5% of the entire population applying. These are circumstances which are beyond the company's control. Management has always put a structure to ensure that everyone applying for a job is given the chance to get information and, if possible, defend themselves before the panel. Committee observation. Homa management has demonstrated commitment to fair recruitment practices by advertising vacancies widely through its official website, mainstream media, and newspapers, ensuring accessibility to all qualified candidates. Additionally, the management has made efforts to shortlist candidates from diverse backgrounds, aligning with the principle of transparency and inclusivity. However, the challenges such as low application rates from underrepresented communities and qualification gaps have limited the diversity outcomes. Continuous improvements in the outreach and recruitment strategy will enhance compliance with Section 7.2 of the National and Cohesion and Integration Act of 2008 while promoting the workforce inclusivity. Committee recommendation. Homa management needs to implement targeted outreach and affirmative action strategy to attract diverse applicants and ensuring compliance with Section 7.2 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2008. This may include partnership with institutions in underrepresented regions and structured mentorship programs to ensure diversity in recruitment. Underpayment, Honorable Speaker, underpayments of staff. Review of the payroll for the month of June 2024 reveals that 9 employees were earning a monthly pay of less than 14,025, resulting to a total underpayment of 17,584 per month. This was contrary to regulation. Contrary to regulation of Wage General Amendment Order of May 2022, which said that a minimum monthly pay for an employee working in Homa Bay County at Kenya shillings 14,025.40. In the circumstance, the management was in breach of the law. Management response. The management concurs with the auditor observation that there was an underpayment to some staff. However, this has since been resolved by reviewing the salaries to match the required minimum wage. Salary review letters have been issued to the affected staff. Honorable Speaker, Committee Observation. Homa management has taken a proactive step to address the underpayment issue by reviewing and adjusting salaries to comply with the regulation of Wage General Amendment Order of May 2022. Issuing salary review letters to affected staffs demonstrate management commitment to fair labor practices and legal compliance. This corrective action ensures employees receive their rightful compensations and help foster a more equitable work environment. Committee recommendation. Omawasco management to strengthen a regular payroll audit system to ensure ongoing compliance with the regulation of Wages General Amendment Order of 2022, preventing further underpayment and maintaining fair employment compensation. Irregular appointment of the Board of Directors. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the review of the process of appointing the 7 board members of directors reveals that the appointment letters of the directors were issued on 4th July 2023 before the gazettement, which was done in the Kenya Gazette, notice number 170 of 28 July 2023. No explanation was given on why the appointment letters were hurriedly issued before the names were gazetted. In the circumstance, the regularity of the appointment of the Board of Directors could not be confirmed. Management response. The management wishes to state that it was a typing error and the letter were recalled. The correct appointment letters were then issued to appointed directors and the date dated correctly on 9th August 2023 after the gazettement. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, committee observation. Omawasco management acknowledges the error, taken corrective actions by recalling the initial letters and reissued properly dated appointment letters after gazettement. This demonstrates a commitment to rectify administrative oversights and ensuring compliance with legal appointment procedures. The matter has been satisfactorily addressed. Committee recommendation. Going forward, Omawasco management need to strengthen the governance and appointment procedures to ensure all board appointments strictly follows the legal requirement, including gazettement before issuing of appointment letters in line with the good corporate governance practices. Property, plant and equipment. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the statement of the financial position reflects property, plant and equipment balance of Kenya shillings 210, 654, 674, as disclosed in Note 10 to the financial statement. The following unsatisfactory matters were noted. Stalled construction of Ndiwa abolition block. The company entered into a contract with MS Acums General Supplies for the construction of a complete public abolition block in Ndiwa town market for a construction of some Kenya shillings 5,091,794 on 18th August 2022. The contract period was set as 6 months. The review of the interim payment certificate indicates the total amount of 3,177,555 has been paid to the contractor. Physically, verification of the project on 12th November 2024 reveals that the project was still incomplete, with a flooring fixing of window panels and painting being among the works outstanding. Records further indicates that the contract was terminated on 10th June 2024 for non-compliance. However, despite the contractor providing a performance security valued at 1,890,050 to the company upon the signing of the contract, no effort was made to seize the security as compensation, having failed to perform. In the circumstance, the value for money realized from the expenditure of 3.177555 already incurred on the project could not be confirmed. Management response. The management stated that the contractor was only paid for the works done as per the interim certificate of 3,177,555, and there was no need to withhold his security valued of 1,890,050. The contract was terminated and a new contractor awarded. Further, the following works have been done. If you are there, you see septic tank, plastering done, plumbing installed, tile installed. Committee observation. The delayed compensation of completion. The delayed completion of the Ndiwa abolition block raises serious concerns over project management, contract enforcement, and accountability. Despite terminating the contract due to non-performance, Homa management failed to invoke the performance security, potentially leading to financial loss. Consequently, the decisive actions undermines a contract enforcement and value for money principle as required under Section 147 of the Public Procurement and Assets and Disposal Act 2015, which mandates an enforcement of performance security to protect public funds. The committee ascertained that the new contractor is on site and that the contract works are near completion. In the circumstance, the matter remains delayed, work in progress. Committee recommendation: Homa management needs to establish a stronger contract oversight mechanism to prevent delay and ensuring timely completion of projects in line with Regulation 132 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposals Regulation 2020, which emphasize contract monitoring and enforcement. Further, the management should ensure strict adherence to Section 53 of the Public Finance and Management Act 2012, which requires effective project implementation and prudent financial management to prevent financial loss. Honorable Speaker, non-publication of procurement contract. Review of the procurement contract for the company reveals that the following three procurement contracts totaling to 24,437,494 were not published on the company notice board and website contrary to Regulation 131 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Regulation 2020, which stipulates that an accounting officer of a procuring entity shall, in accordance with Section 138 of the Accounting Officer of the no, let me check that again. The review of the procurement contract for the company reveals that the following three companies, three procurement contracts totaling to 224,437,494 were not published on the company notice board and website, contrary to Regulation 131 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Regulation 2020, which stipulate that the accounting officer of the procuring entity shall, in accordance with the Section 138 of the Act, and publicize all document contracts and its notice board, boards and websites within 14 days or after signing the contract, and B, report all assigned contracts to the authority within the 14 days after the end of every month in the format provided by the authority. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, if you check the three we are talking about, they are there in the report. In addition, no evidence was provided to indicate that the contracts were reported to the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. In the circumstance, the management was in breach of the law. Honorable Speaker, management response. The management concurs with the auditor's observation that it did not comply with the requirements of the Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2012 on publishing and submissions of the procurement contracts to the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. However, currently the company is registered with the PPPIP and conducts its obligations which includes publishing of tenders in the portal. Committee observation. Omawasco management is in breach of Regulation 131 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Regulations 2020, which requires that all procurement contracts be published on a notice board, website, portal to the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority within 14 days of the signing Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. With 14 days of signing. Section 138 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2012 was violated, as it requires procuring entity to ensure transparency and public disclosure of awarded contracts. By failure to publish and report the procurement contracts totaling to 24,437,494, Omawasco management compromised procurement transparency and accountability, raising concerns over possible irregularities, favoritism, or lack of due diligence in awarding these contracts. Committee recommendation: immediate compliance with the procurement regulation. Number 2, implementation of compliance of monitoring and framework. Honorable Speaker, destruction of water supply lines. The property, plant and equipment balance, including 8,297,330 paid in respect of a contract of the company entered into with a local company for LTP got Simenya tank Homa Bay pipe replacement at a contract of 15,102,350 on 20th March 2023. The contract period was set at 8 months. However, it is unclear how much had been paid in total by 30th June 2024, since the project status report was not provided for audit review. Further, the physical verification on 12th November reveals that the project distribution lines had been cut off due to ongoing road construction in the project area, leading to altering of the supply of water to the areas of the area residents for the last 2 months. No documentary evidence has been provided to show who will bear the burden of repairing the pipes and why it has taken so long to do so. In the circumstance, the value for money realized from the expenditure of 8,297,330 on the project could not be confirmed. Management response. The management stated that during the financial year 2023-2024, the contractor was paid a total of 8,297,330 as indicated in the payment voucher, interim certificate and project status report relating to the works done during the financial year. However, due to road construction working taking place in the area led to altering of the project continuity. Further, the management engaged the contractor doing the road construction on the destroyed water pipes, and he has repaired the water lines, and water supply has since been restored to residents of Homa Bay County. Omawasco, the committee observation. Omawasco management failed to safeguard the public assets and ensures accountability in execution of the LTP Simenya Tank Homa Bay Pipeline Replacement Project. The lack of project status report and failure to clarify responsibility for the damaged water lines, violation of section 68(1)b of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, which mandates proper financial management, accountability, value for money in public expenditure. In addition, failure to ensure timely repair of the destroyed water supply lines and prolonged disruption of water services contravenes section 117 of the Water Act of 2016, which places an obligation of licensed water services providers to ensure an uninterrupted supply and maintain of water infrastructure. This absence of a clean liability agreement for the damage also suggests a lapse in contract management and risk mitigations, which are essential principles in public finance under section 53 of the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015. As a result, the value for money of Kenya shillings 8,297,330 spent remains unverified, and the delay in restoration of water services negatively impacted on the residents. Committee recommendation. Omawasco Board of Director and Management needs to ensure full compliance with section 668(1)b of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, compliance with section by maintaining accurate and up-to-date project status report. A forensic audit should be conducted 297,330 expenditure to determine whether value for money was achieved. Any official found to have neglected financial oversight should face disciplinary action, including potential surcharge under Section 202 of the Public Financial Management Act 2012 for financial mismanagement. Honorable Speaker, committee recommendation number 2, that Homa management to mitigate implementation of Section 53 of Public Finance Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, ensuring that all future contracts, including clear risk in mitigation measures and foreseeable liabilities clause for damages caused by third parties, such as road construction. Moving forward, all public infrastructure projects needs to be coordinated with relevant agencies, ensuring that the disruptions to essential services such as water supply are minimized, swiftly addressed, and legally enforced against responsible parties. Irregular shareholding. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, review of CR 12 for the Homa County Water and Sanitation Company Limited reveals that County Executive Committee member in charge of finance, the county CC in charge of water, and the county secretary holds in the company in their individual capacities, all shares in the company in their individual capacities, and not in trust as required by the guidelines. In the circumstance, the corporate governance guidelines for the water service sector 2024 and the beneficial ownership of the company could not be confirmed. Management response. The management stated that the CCM Finance, CCM Water, and the county secretary do not hold the same shares in this company, in the same shares in Homa in their individual capacity, but as directors of the company. Committee observation. Review of CR12 form reveals that the appointment of county committee members and the county secretary as individual shareholders in the county in Homa Bay County Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Homa contradicts the Corporate Governance Guidelines for Water Services Act 2024. Which requires shares to be held in trust for the public. This raises concerns over transparency, potential conflict of interest, and the true beneficial ownership of the company. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, committee's recommendation. The committee recommendation needs to, the county government needs to ensure the shares in the county, in the Homa Bay County Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Homa are held in trust for the public as required by the Corporate Governance Guidelines for Water Services Sector 2024 to enhance transparency, prevent conflict of interest. Additionally, the company should update its records to reflect the correct legal ownership structure. non-remittance of statutory deductions. The trade and other payables balance includes 5,933,796 for NIF, deductions of 10 million for NSSF, and deduction for 2.7 million for payee. The amount that includes interest and penalties had not been remitted to the NIF, NHIF, and Kenya Revenue Authorities respectively. Failure to remit the statutory deductions will result to the company incurring fines that could have been avoided and infringe of section 19(4) of the Employment Act 2007, which requires statutory deductions to be paid to the relevant authorities in due time. In circumstance, the management was in breach of the law. Management response: the management stated that it entered into an agreement with the respective institutions and have made payable to them as per the payment plan. The management further wishes to state that it had done up to the payment of SHIP and is also making payment to the KRA. The management also awaits for the new tariff to be gazetted in order to commence payment to NSSF as per the agreement in the payment plan. Committee observation. Homa management failed to remit statutory deductions for the employees on time, violation of section 19(4) of the Employment Act 2007, and attracting unnecessary penalties. This non-compliance risk financial loss and legal consequences for the company. The committee recommends that the management to ensure timely remittance of all statutory deductions to restrict compliance with section 19(4) of the Employment Act 2007 to avoid penalties and legal consequences. Management to adhere to its payment plan to the statutory obligations as prescribed before the committee, as presented before the committee. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to take members to the committee recommendation on this. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends an implementation of comprehensive non-receivable. Let me take this again, Honorable Speaker. I want to move you to the weaknesses in the management of customers' accounts and meetings. Honorable Speaker, and honorable members, duplicated meter numbers for different customer accounts. Analysis of the customer's account reveals 55 meter numbers were duplicated, an indication that the company might be losing a revenue arising from the creation of different meter accounts using similar meter numbers. Individual customers' statements confirm that different account numbers were sharing. Different customers were sharing similar meter numbers. Management response: that the meter numbers stated that management stated that it is the company policy to allocate meter numbers to to residential and non-residential buildings, which from time to time change tenancies. It is also the tenant details that are changed and not the meter numbers. When tenancy changes from one individual to another, one of the customer account details. The dormant customers who have relocated have been indicated as company does not receive any revenue from them. Therefore, there are no active duplicated meter numbers. The committee observation: the committee noticed that the existence of 55 duplicated meter numbers across different customers account raises concern over the potential revenue loss and billing inefficiency. This practice violates Section 91 of the Water Act 2016, which requires water revenue providers to ensure accurate metering, billing, to maintain could lead to fraudulent billing practices, breaching the Consumer Protection Act of 2012, which ensures customer receives fair and transparent bill services. The committee recommendation: the Homa management needs to speedily implement a robust meter management system to ensure that each customer account is assigned a unique and transferable meter number. The management to conduct a comprehensive audit of all customers' accounts to eliminate duplication meter numbers and enforce strict data validation control. Similarly, the management to introduce automated reconciliation and periodic system review to detect and prevent fraudulent billing and revenue leakage, ensuring full compliance with the Consumer Protection Act of 2012. Honorable Speaker, the issuance sewer and exhauster sales revenue. Honorable Speaker, then the operating revenue includes a sewer software building and exhauster sales revenue amounting to Kenya shillings 18 million. 692,872 and Kenya shillings 2,701,107, bringing the total sewer and exhauster sales revenue to a Kenya shillings 21,393,975. Analysis of the company customers account reveals that the company had a total registered connections of Kenya shillings 144 clients relating to a sewer service, but only 180, which is to a percentage of 74.5% connections were metered and active. The remaining 369, which is 25%, connections were neither unmetered or metered, but not active, as illustrated in the diagram below. No evidence was provided evidence was provided to show that the management had made efforts to ensure that all the accounts that were unmetered or metered but not performing were metered or revived to expand the revenue base. In the circumstance, the effectiveness of internal control over management of customers' accounts and metered could not be confirmed. Management response. The management stated that unmetered sewer accounts relate to sewer only connections to households that do not have Homa pipe water connections, and therefore only registered as sewer only connections without any specific meters allocated to them. As such, there are no meters to monitor the waste volumes discharged into the company's sewerage conveyance system, and therefore the sewer only connections are charged standard rate tariff structure and conditions from the Sewer Service Regulation Board which outlines the charges of waste water as per connections, type and number of households. Committee observation. The committee noticed lack of universal metering for sewer connections, the existence of unmetered sewer connections, which is 25%, indicating the weak internal control revenue generation and monitoring. Without metering, the company risk and charging or overcharging customers' dissatisfaction. Further, there is weak control in sewer and exhauster revenue management, as the company has no clear strategy to maintain to transition unmetered or inactive sewer accounts into active billing system, which undermines its revenue potential. Failure to do document efforts to review non-performing accounts further weakens the financial stability for sewer operation. Committee recommendation: national metering and improved metering. The committee, Homa management needs to install meters on all active and potential sewer connections to ensure accurate billing and accountability. Strength revenue collection and account management. Homa management to develop a structure plan to review inactive sewer accounts and transition and metered accounts into the billing system. This should include a regular audit, follow-up on inactive connections, and engagement with customers to improve revenue collection. Committee General Observation. Honorable Speaker, inaccuracy in financial statements, non-disclosure, late submissions, and failure to address prior years' audit matters. The committee observed inaccuracy in the financial statements and reports prepared by Homa management, including non-disclosure of PPE, delays in the submission of required financial documents, and failure to address prior audit matters. The finding indicates that Homa management has not at 126 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 147(1), adhered to Article and Section 2 of the PFM Act 2012 and Public Audit Act of 2015 and other relevant laws and regulations. Number 2, financial management challenges. Analysis of the audit report reveals significant lapses in financial management, low revenue collection, unauthorized contract payments. These are breach to the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Public Finance Management and Public Procurement laws. Number 3, human resource management. The Auditor General report reveals the human resource management concerns about compliance with relevant employment laws and not corporate governance practices. Number 4, the committee noticed that registration of Homa is ambiguous, hence documentation of its assets has been challenged. Recommendation: Homa presentation in Article 226 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 on accounts and audit of public entities. Number 2, Homa management. The Homa management to improve in financial management and operates the dictates of Chapter 12 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Public Finance Management Act of 2012 and its regulations, as well as the Public Procurement and Disposal Act. Number 3, Homa to fully comply with the employment laws and practices, good corporate governance to improve on human resource and management at the company. Lastly, the county government to consider enacting a law establishing Homa as a water service provider entity. Honorable Speaker, before I read my prayer and call for committee prayer and I call for my seconder, I want to state to my colleague, to the Honorable House, that this is a report that was done